Wednesday, June 12th, and I wanted to do this one about just some fundamental ideas about a nationally issued currency, not the privately held Federal Reserve note that we use now. But I want to talk about solutions and after the collapse, what we should be looking to do. And because I've told everybody in my past videos what we need to absolutely avoid, and that's any other privately issued fiat currency, and especially a digital currency. Anything that's on a plastic card or a chip, because that's going down the wrong road. That's printable to infinity. You can't have fractional reserve banking. There has to be a Glass-Steagall type of things in place. But more importantly, with the national issued currency, you don't have the debt attached. And if you don't have the fractional reserve lending, you don't get that multiplier. So you want a natural deflation so that the money becomes worth more. But we've got to have this, transition into what we're going to use. So basically what it's going to come down to is national currencies are going to be backed by their exports. Whatever the country is able to have a surplus of and is able to export is basically what that nation's currency is going to be worth. If the nation isn't producing anything that anybody wants, then their currency is going to be worth shit. And that's where we're headed very quickly. Gold and silver are being hoarded by all of the different countries, all of the different populations in the countries that are the big producers. Basically the BRICS. Go right down that list of countries, and every last one of them are getting gold, physical gold, in the hands of the people. And what are we doing? We're printing the most amount of currency, creating the most amount of currency, and we're buying more paper with it. And the middle class is being squeezed out through taxes and, just this consolidation of all these corporations. And nobody does anything. And look at how many people just throw paper at each other. All day long, all you do is throw paper at each other. The electricity bills are crazy. There's no reason why it has to be that much. It's because they won't let the cold fusion, and speaking of cold fusion, platinum and palladium. And then there was another kind of energy source that I was looking at, and I'm going to go ahead and mention this now. I was thinking about holding off until I got some, but I don't see there being a rush on Canadian nickels. Canadian nickels during certain periods of time. You're going to have to start page searching in order to find which years. I don't know them offhand because they flip back and forth. But Canada made 4.6 gram pure 99% nickels. And I remember watching a YouTube video where they had some of these new free energy devices running on pure nickel. Our nickels are 5 grams at 75% copper, 25% nickel. And if you can buy a pure metal alloy and not have to have the expense of heating it up and separating it, and it might be really difficult to do that with the copper nickel alloy. I think there's going to be more long-term value into pure nickel. And also you got to look at the price of nickel right now is averagely runs about twice the price of copper. So even though the Canadian nickel, even though it weighs less, is actually worth way more. I think it's running like 6 cents and change right now, whereas the U.S. nickel is 4.5, somewhere there. Inflation is a great website to keep track of all that stuff. But anyways, yeah, so a nation's currency is going to be backed by its exports. And when we transition to this new currency system, if it's going to last, it only needs to be issued with projects that are going to help the general community, like road projects, building, creating free electricity for everybody, creating that kind of a grid, or those kinds of however we're going to do it. Because when we unlock the keys to the patent office, that's part of the key to this whole new thing. The technology is there. It's just locked up. We're not allowed to have it. There's no reason for an electricity. All these wires run everywhere. But currency can be printed from that. There's going to be a rush into clean food. And I also want to give a shout out to the Hyper Report. They just did a 2-minute. Scott did a 2 or 3 minute thing about just the evolution of the currency, how it used to be backed by gold, then it went through the petrodollar stage. Now the only thing that we're really good for is our food export, and now look at what Monsanto is doing. The countries all over the place are rejecting our wheat because it's been contaminated with the GMO. And I don't see how it hasn't always been contaminated with the GMO, because they grow the winter wheat in the same field they grow the Roundup Ready soy and corn. So, glyphosate is a poisonous shit and should never have been allowed to be on the market. But no, our FDA is run by Monsanto, and the congressmen and senators are paid off. And I also want to give a shout out to Tom Carper. That's a great job that you're doing on the IRS Oversight Committee, buddy. Bravo! Bravo, Tom Carper. IRS Oversight Committee. He's a Democrat. Who'd have thunk it, right? Alright, that's all for now. One last thing. My mind is jumping all around. National currency, as far as the property, of course the federal government shouldn't be owning any property. The UN shouldn't be owning any property within the United States if we're going to be a sovereign nation. The property is owned by the states, and even at the smaller level, I think the property is actually owned by the county, because we saw a little thing about the northern Colorado counties are wanting to secede and create their own state, but it explicitly prevents it in the Constitution without the agreement of pretty much everybody. And the problem is that pretty much everybody is so damn corrupt right now that you'll never get a state or the federal Congress to release several counties to create their own state. I'd love to see the state of Delmarva, with Dover still remaining as its capital, from the canal all the way south, all the way through the tip where Virginia picks up down there. Maryland, the whole block, just state of Delmarva. We could do it, and we could be an agriculture giant if we would grow real chickens and not grow fields of shit, Monsanto Roundup Ready corn and soy. All right, that's it for now. Bye.